Hey CC and RR fans, I feel like it's been a while since Season 4 ended. Season 5 is going to be kicking in here soon, but fret not. I got some LEGO goodies to share and build and put up for review. So here it is, the LEGO Nintendo 71374, 2,646 pieces, retails for about $220-ish. This is 18 plus, although youngsters can build it as well. This obviously pulls at the heartstrings of all those folks that grew up with the Nintendo, the original Nintendo. The size of the box here are just Lego bricks. This is kind of the new style for more adult-ish themed content. The box almost, if you take a look at just really quick glance, it almost looks like it's an original Nintendo box as well. They kind of made it look nostalgic. And I'll just kind of go around here so you can see each side of this box. That's obviously the top of the box with it's upside down, but there's your classic Mario on some Lego bricks. And then on the other side, it's basically the same here, except now you got that goodie here at the bottom. So, put that like that. And then here is the back of the box. So you can see all of its retro goodness all here. I will be doing a detailed review of this in a build as well, but the game will insert in to the console and will actually push down like a vintage Nintendo, which is pretty sweet. It will not play the game, obviously, right? But you get the feel of it. And then you can pretend like you're playing the game here, and if you hit that little crank, it will crank the game, and I'll show that later on. But you get a TV, a stand for the TV, the Nintendo, the Super Mario Brothers game, and a controller. And it is worth noting here that the buttons do not click, but hey, you know, it's a life-size controller, and you can throw it down like if you get mad with the game as well. Now, if you bought this when it first came out, you got a couple goodies. Here's some of those goodies that I got. Now, you know, to keep in mind here that these goodies were only, I think if you bought, you know, the starter pack here, but if you bought the starter pack and if you bought this too, you got some of these goodies. So that's just a starter pack. You got this baggie and you got this guy here. And then these are the new minifig blind bags, if you would call them minifigs, but there's 10 of these, and these are at the Lego store as well. So stay tuned, my friends. I will pop open the box and show the manual here. Okay, so here it is. You get 2 thick manuals, so you can actually build the Nintendo and the TV separately, so you can have your buddy or your wife or your husband, whatever, your dog, help you build this thing. It's 2 separate, you know, builds essentially. Both are about the same in thickness. This one starts on bag 9. So obviously that's 1 through 9. You get a small sticker sheet. This is for the back of the TV and for the Mario Brothers cartridge game. You can see there. So not too much. Everything else is going to be printed. So that's pretty cool when you consider how much printing is going on here, especially on the Nintendo. So in the manuals themselves, just so you can see, there's a little write-up in here. Not a whole lot. So if you know about the UCS sets, there's usually a bunch of pages about that, or the idea set. There's a bunch of pages about the idea, but they were pretty thin on this, which is, you know, no big deal. I'm sure there was a ton of information they could have shown, but you know, they kept it pretty thin. That is actually the Lego Nintendo that they're acting like they're playing, which is kind of funny on this the TV. So there's really mainly these pages. It talks about the console itself and some instructions about the console in a ton of different languages. And then here's the designers again building it. And that's it. And then you basically go straight into the build. 1 controller, 1 game, and the Nintendo. And then you move on to the TV. And in here, there's a little bit more info. Here it talks about the game or the games for the Nintendo, the original Nintendo. I'm sure many of you had these games and threw the controllers because they were so hard. That's what the TV screen is going to look like eventually. That scrolls. And then it is interactive with the starter set Mario that's come out as well. And you put him on top of there and he plays some games and he interacts with the actual vintage game as well. And then you just blast on into it. There are 21 bags. And that's it. All right, fans, I'm going to start the build. I'll be back in a little bit. So in typical RR fashion, I am stopping at bag 3 to give you guys a close-up look at so far what's been built. I got to give it to LEGO, man. They just the creativity's flowing through these guys left and right. So out of 3 bags here, you're really getting into the mechanism. So those of you who don't know, and obviously I'll show this later, but in more detail, but they even made it so the cartridge could be sit in like an old school Nintendo and it locks in place. So they haven't completed the mechanism yet, but you can see that it kind of pops down. So there's 2 spring Technic pieces that are in here, and then there's these tires here that you don't really know what to do with them yet or what they're going to do, but the mechanism is in place, and somehow this is going to come up and allow it to go up, but that's not completed yet. But just look at this. You know, there's your controller connectors. That is a print. And then your power and reset button, which are both prints, so no stickers yet. And there's your power LED light, which I don't believe turns red, obviously, but they did not go with a red one here. They went with it being in sleep mode. So here's the side pieces so far, coming along. Nothing really to show in the back, and then really nothing to show here, but all of this is Technic in here. It's not as much as you would expect there to be, perhaps, I guess, but yeah, it's coming along nice. This is a pretty cool way that they're doing this so far. I like this. This is the controller, are those little clips. There's 2 of those in there on each side. But coming along. All right, I'll see you in another 3. Well, back in RR fashion here, and wow, after 3 bags, you build a lot of this Nintendo. I mean, it pretty much looks like a Nintendo now, right? It's pretty crazy. So after 3 more bags, you basically build the whole frame of this thing and all the innards. So there's the buttons again, as we talked about. There are the controller joints. Here's the top so far. You get this nice webbing. This was pretty cool to build. Very interesting techniques, especially throughout in here and here. This still, you know, it clicks in, but it doesn't 100% go out yet. So I'm hoping that's going to work unless I screwed something up. Here is this side. Now this side's got an Easter egg in it, which I'll show you in just a little bit. But right now it's just the normal side from just looking at it. There's your power. And then here is this side here. And this is just another one of those indentions like the original Nintendo. And back to the front. So the bottom of this thing, you know, is just straight up Lego. Doesn't look like the bottom of the Nintendo, the original Nintendo, but you can see that this is one solid piece, and then you build onto all the rest of this to make the bottom of the unit. So there are 9 bags that represent the Nintendo itself. So bag 7 is the top and the Super Mario cartridge. All right, so now I'm going to show you the little Easter egg that they build in here. So this comes off. Just pretty simple. And that is Super Mario Brothers World 1, 2 in micro scale. Pretty sweet. There's your 3 warp zones. Jump through the first set of warps. Too bad there's not a micro Mario to pop right on there. But pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. All right, back to building. No more games. All right, so I finished the Nintendo Entertainment System. These are prints across here. This opens up so you can throw a game in. You complete basically all of this stuff here. So you can see this side, the back. Now this is made to come off, so you can pop this piece off and you can kind of still see the innards here if you wanted to, which is kind of cool. And I'll put this back on. It's on by only a few studs, so that's a nice convenient feature. And then you move around. So you also build the game. It's got a little bit of green in there, so it's like you got a blow in it, right? These are the only stickers for the Nintendo, is this top one and this little bottom one. So there's two there. It's got the little hand piece. So this for me was a little finicky when putting this in. It goes in fine, and you push the button, and it goes down, which is great, right? So now you're playing the game. But it's a little finicky when you press it to have it come up. So you kind of... I took this thing apart figuring maybe I'm an idiot, but I can't figure out what I did wrong. It looks like I did everything right on it. So, but that's what it does. It pops out, and you're ready to go. In addition, you build the controller, which is pretty remarkable. This is supposed to be a replica or life size of the controller. And you can see none of the buttons work, obviously, but these are all prints. Nothing on this controller is a sticker. And they got it really close. I mean, if it wasn't for these little gaps on the side, it virtually looked like a Nintendo controller. It's pretty crazy. And then here is the end of the cord, which will plug in. And it clips in very nicely. Let me get this in so you can see it. And it's like you're playing a Nintendo game. The cord's not very long. I would say it's probably about a foot and change. But nonetheless, it gets the point across, right? Very well done there. I started building bag 9 as well, which is going to be the TV. And this is what you get at a bag 9 so far. Off to 10. So not quite halfway, but getting there. Okay, here we are. 4 bags into the TV now. And a lot done. So you can see all the gearing mechanism going on right over in this area. The crank is now on the side of the TV. So when you crank this, you can see the gears starting to go there. I assume there's going to be some connection with this guy eventually. It is also here, you can see in the back there, you cannot go you can't go backwards. It's a one way. You can only go this way. The other way will stop it. So that's kind of what's going on here so far in the interior. The back of it is getting built as well. You can see the video and the cable jack right there. And I guess that's where the AC plug would be, I guess, maybe eventually. But so far, building that up. The antenna is now in here. This is in by a clip. And it simply, can go up, which is a nice feature for the TV. And that's just simply goes back down and will clip in. Extra nice there. So bag 13 is going to start to focus on the actual Mario video that's in here from Super Mario Brothers, but you can see all the details going on. A lot of the wheels, there's 6 wheels in there as well. So I'm going to keep going. It's been 4 days since I started this. It's very difficult, very hard to do. All right, I'm going to keep going, fans. Stay tuned. Back after many hours of working on this beast. I am up to bag 17, and just to show you what I've done, I've basically built up the walls some more on each side, did a little bit more work on the inside, and then finish the back of the TV. There's your sticker. This is a sticker right here. And then they have you starting to work on the actual scene from the game, or the scenes from the game. And you're working on this, which is going to be, this is all on a track, the big track pieces here. You can see 30 pieces each on each side. This is by far the most repetitive of the entire build. Even this really, you know, the sides had some repetitiveness to it, but not that much. This is definitely the most. So on to bag 17 of 21, starting to make some real progress, getting close to the end. I'll see you in a few. Well, fans, I have completed the NES system with the retro TV, and I will say LEGO is showing off. I mean, the talent over there, at this point, they're just showing off the talent. I mean, it's pretty amazing what they did with this set and how accurate they got it. I mean, hands down, it's pretty awesome. So let's just do a final compare or final review of what we got. So here's the finished product for the TV. Nothing on this is stickers except for the one sticker in the back that I'll show again here in just a little bit. But all in all, these are all going to be prints. Lots of printed pieces there. And then that one at the bottom is a print as well. Some neat little features. There's a rubber piece that sticks in here, which allows this to click like you're changing the channel, like the old school TVs. For those of you who had a TV like this, I definitely did, and that was definitely some nostalgic there. Here's the Mario. That's one Lego piece. It's actually relatively small. I would say it's a little more than an inch tall. It looks kind of big, but it's actually about 1.5 inches or so, maybe 2 inches. There is the mechanism that I'm sure you've seen quite a bit of online. It's very smooth. When you crank it, it can only crank one way. If you try to go back, it won't let you, which is nice because it allows you to keep the forward moving going like in the original game. And it's a very smooth mechanism that basically the way it works is the 3D elements stick on this. I thought it was going to be some crazy technique in the back, but it's actually a relatively simplistic mechanism that gets you to do this, which again lends it to the creativity of how they did this. So this circle clear piece basically is hitting on all the 3D pieces, and it just works out that it looks basically almost like it's perfect on the way that it's moving across the screen, all in all. So hands down, all of these pieces that you see on here, that like the coin, the tunnel, all of that is printed pieces. The Goombas, the turtle shells, the star, all of that is going to be printed. So that's pretty awesome. That was probably the most tedious part out of building everything. That and the makeshift speaker here is nothing but little 1x1 black studs that go in there. So there's like 40 of them. But you know, it was pretty awesome to kind of put this together. The TV does come off the stand. If you wanted to take it off, it's not clamped in. So here, so to show that, the stand is a pretty basic stand for the TV. Nothing too crazy. It's got the little post on it there, and it just kind of rests. There's a gray piece on each side on the bottom that it just kind of sticks in, so you can see that there. Again, to mention here on the TV, let me pull this around. That's the one side there. And then on the back, that big white text is that's a sticker. That's a single sticker. And as I showed earlier, this is going to be your classic antenna that comes off. Now, this does work with the big Mario that's out right now. You basically pop this, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. Yeah, there you go. Push it down, and there's your barcode for Mario to interact. I'll potentially show that later on. and this just goes right on, fits in. All right, the other thing I just show you here at the bottom, it's just this, they captured all the retro stuff on these perfectly. Just the bottom of the TV just looks all retro as well, which is pretty sweet. So hands down awesome on the TV. So going back to the Nintendo, you get a single controller. This is basically a life-size controller that matches the original Nintendo. You know, the cord is a little short, but you know, what are you going to do? I mean, it's a Lego set. I mean, it's not terribly short, but it's not like you can play it anyway. So how long of a cord do you need? It just seems a bit strange. You would think it'd be a tad bit longer, but small gripe there. No critical assessments on that. But again, here's the controller. Here's the back of the controller. There's the front. None of the buttons click or anything like that, but they're all prints. And all in all, this is pretty awesome. Lots of cool techniques to get this to work. And then going back to the Nintendo, here's the controller plugged in. It plugs in just with those little, you know, grappling hooks, if you will. And then the way they did this down here, if you can see that, it's 2 hooks in there that nicely clip on. All in all, the Nintendo looks pretty awesome. Virtually no stud showing except for the 2 here on the top. Again, Nintendo, I mean, they nail this all around. It's a little smaller than the actual Nintendo itself, the original, and there's plenty of reviews on that online. But, you know, it's good. Now, I will say that this top, I mean, just to get this little lip here, as you can see the little lip on that, took some interesting building techniques to have that happen. And again, these guys are just showing off the amount of talent they have to get this to look the way it does. And just for those of you, I feel like I had, this was finicky for me earlier. And I kind of messed with it some more. And if those of you who are having this finicky, so when it goes in, works perfectly, it clips down like the original Nintendo, but mine was kind of, it wasn't clicking up, it was getting stuck. So to help resolve that, if you click down a little harder, it will pop up. So like the original Nintendo, you click down, and like if you do it like that, you can see it kind of sticks. But if you just do it one shot hard, it will pop up nicely with no issues. So again, a nice touch by Nintendo to make that all work the way it should. But all in all, I would definitely recommend getting this set. It's pretty sweet. The last thing I'll mention about the TV is that they do make it so that you can take off these top pieces if you want. They're only on by 2x2 studs here, so if you just wanted to get in here, so you can see it's pretty easy to pry off and you can get to the inside. It's interesting that they did that, so perhaps maybe sometime down the road they're gonna make different screens for you to put in there, because it's all relatively modular inside for them to do that, if you know this tends to be something that's going to be long-lived. But all in all, you're basically getting 2 sets in one. This is 2 separate instruction books, so you know someone else could build the TV while the other one builds the Nintendo. And yeah, it's awesome. I think I mentioned this before. These 2 buttons are for show. There's no clicking or pushing of these buttons. They're they're just kind of there. But I mean that would have been kind of crazy if Lego ended up getting that to work as well. But yeah, great set. Get it. All right. So I wanted to show you one more thing here. So I promised that I would show you some interaction here. So you take this cute little Mario, which is actually very well made. He's got posable hands. That's about it, but pretty well made. You turn him on. He's got some LED lights for his eyes and his mouth and his chest there. So what you do with this guy is you put him on here, cranks it up, and you play the game. Look at that. Yes. Now I wish that there was a flag for me to jump on. That's not here. But that's okay, because Mario is just super happy. Look at that. So that's how it interacts with the TV. I got the starter set for this. I'm not going to do a full review of that, but just so you can see the Mario, because that's the star, he can interact with all sorts of goodies. See? Oh, I almost dropped my phone. I got so excited. Look at that. You know, he can hop around, and then he can play with these guys too. So here's this guy. Look at that. You know, Bowser Jr. there. He's got this on his back. So he's like, you know, the 3 times. He's so happy. Well, there you go. So there's your Lego vintage TV. Pretty sweet. Again, if you can get it, get it. It is well worth it, and it will make you very happy. So stay tuned for more exciting CCNRR episodes coming up in Season 5. Bam!